Hey guys, happy Monday. Hey Damon, you look like you're in a little different place here today. What's going on?
I feel like I'm what's that guy Andy on the street or something? Or is that guy going on the street and talking to people? But I'm on the road. I'm like you today, Kurt. I'm out
Yeah.
at the client site.
Well,
So
I love it. Well, hey, happy Monday to you. I came last Monday of the quarter already. I don't know
yeah,
where I just feel like the year just started and all of a sudden we're coming to the end of the quarter. So, all
it's crazy.
right, we have a great, wonderful conversation. We're going to dive right in. We've got a manufacturing expert here. So, Miguel from Impact, Washington. Miguel, my friend, how are you? Happy Monday.
Happy Monday to you, Kurt. Happy Monday, Damon. I'm fine. I mean, it's Monday. It's Monday. I'm fine.
We'll just leave it at that. It's Monday. How about
Yeah,
that,
Yeah.
right?
yeah.
Just we'll get t-shirts. It's Monday. So
It's Monday. We're ready to go.
hey,
Yeah.
we have a lot to cover today. So we're gonna dive in. Miguel, I've had the honor and privilege of working with you for the past few years. My respect, admiration for you off the charts. We're gonna dive into that. Before we go there, I want to kind of give a little lead up onto where this manufacturing extraordinaire came from, if you will. So, Miguel, let's start here. Your When you were a little guy growing up, and where did you grow up at?
I grew up in a town in Spain. It's called Jerez de la Frontera. It's in the south. So it's literally 116 kilometers away from Africa.
Got it. Okay, so grew up in Spain as a little
Mhm.
guy, and so
Mhm.
and you have a real fascinating tale. We're gonna figure out how you ended up in the state of Washington with Impact Washington.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But when you were a little guy growing up in Spain, who was your hero? Who did you look up to and admire and respect? Who did you look up to as a little guy in Spain?
Oh my God. I th- I think it's very typical answer, but my dad. I mean, it's m- my dad had a fantastic work ethic. He was always procuring for the family, and he wake up in the morning 6 o'clock in the morning, which is really early for Spain, and at 7:30 and at 7:30 he was already on the field. My dad was a vineyard foreman in his entire life, and he was managing 200 people.
Yeah.
Wow.
And yeah, it was a big vineyard, and at some point he was managing 200 people. And
Wow.
the fact is, my dad never went to university, never went to college,
Wow.
never went to high school. He grew up in the aftermath of the Civil War and in Spain, and Civil War in Spain, and he had the opportunity to go to primary school only, and still he had fantastic leadership skills, and he was very stoic, very short phrases man, and but he gave me a couple of them that they are my north star. I follow them. I follow those couple of sentences all the time.
Wow.
Awesome.
Okay.
Awesome.
And what's dad's name?
My dad was Andres.
Nice. Awesome. Man, what a great story that is, man.
Yeah.
200 people and just what a fierce just what an inspiration for you to follow and just looked up to dad and just kind of carried that work ethic and that North Star. Just absolutely love it, Miguel. Okay. All right. So let's dive in. So you grew up in Spain. I believe your work career, you ended up in Mexico, came
Mhm.
to the United States. Take us through how did you end up in North America? Let's walk us through that journey.
So when I was about to finish college, I saw a flyer in the campus saying that if you want to take internships, paid internships abroad, and I was like, yeah, I want to do that. Um, so through an international student organization called ISEC, I ended in Mexico working as a consultant, 18 months. At the time, my dad passed away. I had to return to Spain to fix things at home. And after working for 18 months as a consultant, on the field and working with machines and being on the manufacturing world, I said, this is what I want to do.
Right.
And nothing that I found in my hometown in Jerez was something that I wanted to do. So I picked up the phone, called the consulting firm. They say yes. there's an opportunity, but not here in Guadalajara. Not in Mexico City, but in Guadalajara.
Mhm.
I didn't know anybody in Guadalajara. I just said, yep, I want to do that. So I moved to Guadalajara. I worked for probably 2 years as consultant with the same firm. After that, one of my then clients hired me as a quality assurance and continuous improvement manager.
Mhm.
It's a 500 people company. Then after 7.5 years, a friend of mine, his father's company needs someone to manage the company as a COO, and they asked me, "What do you do, Miguel, for a living?" I thought it was I solve problems. That's what I do.
I solve problems.
Because that's what we need, a problem solver. Okay. So they offered me the position. In the meantime, I met my now wife, and after a few years, we got married and we want to start a family. And Mexico is a beautiful place, but we want to be close to the family here in
Mhm.
so we moved to Denver first. It was soft landing. My mother-in-law was living at the time there, and after Denver, I met Tom Buglitz, who was the CEO of Manufacturers Edge, which is the NIST MEP Center for the state of Colorado.
Mhm.
And through Tom, I met Lauren Lyon. We came to visit our friends, a couple of friends that we have here. When we're living in Denver, we came to visit a couple of friends here that live in Kirkland. And we landed in Seattle. I was one of those Seattle days that are absolutely strange, because it was at the beginning of the spring, but it's a beautiful day. Probably like 70, blue skies, but not absolutely blue. A tiny bit of clouds. Everything was green. No traffic.
Oh,
No traffic.
That was the last time, right, Damon?
that was the last time. That was like during COVID, right?
And we felt like home. We said, this is home. This is home for us. This is home. This is home. This is home. So
Very
when we
cool.
flew back to Denver, we looked at each other and we didn't say, let's think about it. We didn't say, we like it. We didn't say, let's do it. So we landed in Denver. Marley, my wife, started to look for jobs. I gave notice, and 1 month later, we were here.
Wow, that is phenomenal.
Whoa, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I went to visit in Washington. I think Lauren liked me because I got the position.
Well, you must have done something right. So, all right, a couple things that I want to pack right there. So,
Yep.
Miguel, I'd be disappointed myself if I didn't bring this up. You and I are both big blue ocean fans. We won't go deep into it, but Damon, we talked about the blue ocean strategy quite a bit on the show. Just
Yes,
big
we
fan
did.
of that whole concept, and so I'm talking with Miguel one day. Miguel, you have a funny story when you were in college about the blue ocean strategy. Do you mind sharing that with folks?
Well, it was a short story. At that time I was student assistant professor to the director of the department of economy of the business. That's the direct translation. But anyway, so this professor gave me an article from the Harvard Business Review and said, Miguel, you need to translate this. And I was like, what? So you need to translate this. And I was looking at it like, okay, I'll try. And it was precisely about the blue ocean strategy. And we're talking that it was 1994, probably 1994, 1995, when I read for the very first time the blue ocean strategy. While I was reading that, it was clear to me that make absolutely sense. If you have a big company, if you have a company that's trying to fight in a ocean with another 300 companies and fighting for the same piece of the pie, you're gonna suffer. And if you look for something that of this big pie, there's a small piece that nobody's attending those.
Mm-hmm.
I go there, and instead of having to fight for $300 million, I'm gonna be by myself for only 10 million. But I'm gonna be by myself. So I reduce costs, I reduce stress, I can do better, and I turn into the benchmark of the market.
Yeah.
So it was very interesting. But the translation wasn't easy at the time.
I'm sure, but a great way to learn the language, great way to understand and learn the blue ocean strategy whole concept. And you're just a fierce advocate for small manufacturers. We're going to dive into that. I want to dive into who and what is Impact Washington.
Mm-hmm.
Can you just share with folks what is the MEP network? Who is Impact Washington? Let's go there.
So MEP stands for Manufacturing Extension Partnership. We are a group of organizations. We all the same mission. What we want to do is to help companies to become better, to become more efficient, to make more wealthy, to make more money. But at the end of the day, what we're trying to them to do is to hire more people. We are partially federally funded. So we receive money from Congress through the National Institute of Standard Technology. And Impact Washington specifically is the MEP Center for the state of Washington. Mm-hmm. So you have at least one MEP center in each state. Mm-hmm. We are here in Washington. We're a small team. We are, last time I count, we are like 16 people.
Nice.
I think. But we reached the entire state, and it's a lot of fun. I work with a fantastic team. It's just unbelievable talented people that we share the same mission, helping the small and medium-sized manufacturers in the state of Washington, and it's a lot of fun. It's extremely fun.
Wow, that's fantastic. And I want to back up 1 second. So you mentioned continuous improvement. You mm-hmm. came to North America on an internship. You mm-hmm. could have picked a lot of different industries to choose from. What really inspired you to pursue a career in manufacturing? What was so exciting about manufacturing that you were like, man, I'm going all in on this?
Oh my God. I'm mesmerized by the ability of transforming materials to something completely different. Mm-hmm. I've been involved directly with metal manufacturing, plastic manufacturing, chemistry manufacturing, foundries, and every single time I can spend, and this concept sounds kind of dumb, but I can spend hours just watching machines. It just mesmerized me. The ability of the people mm-hmm. to transform a simple sheet of metal into something really complex. Mm-hmm. The people that work in the CNC industry it's absolutely fantastic what they do.
Right.
It's a big blob of aluminum, and they end with something with holes and extremely complex, and you ask, what is this? This is to put in D and blah, blah, blah. It's absolutely great. And every single time I go to a new company, and I'm grateful and lucky that I do it almost every single day, you learn something new.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Every single day. And it's just ad infinitum. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, that's wonderful. And so, all right, background in manufacturing. You talked about Manufacturer's Edge. That's the MEP in the state of Colorado. Mm-hmm. We're now talking to you in the state of Washington. You're covering the state. Now, let's talk about some of the. You have an incredible team, as you discussed. We were talking about a couple of your teammates before we went live, but just 16 strong. You hire third-party providers. Mm-hmm. Talk a little bit about some of the services on your menu. I know you do lean, operational excellence. Let's go there. Like, what are some of the things that, like, some of the amazing how you help elevate and lift up manufacturers in the state of Washington?
I always say it's easier to say the things that we don't do.
Yeah.
I had a colleague that used to say, we are ready to help to the manufacturers in whatever they want to be helped and whenever they want to be helped. We do a lot of, especially for super small companies. That is my world.
Yep.
I do a lot of planning for the future, a lot of strategic planning, succession planning for small companies. If you don't have a plan, you don't have a career, you don't have a path for success.
Right.
Marketing is a big need in the world of super small companies. You have a lot of small manufacturers that are fantastic doers, but awful marketeers. People that you go and knock on the door. Do you have a strategic marketing plan? Yeah, I do. What do you have? A Facebook page. Oh
Yeah.
God. Yeah. Uh, Lean is a big component also. A lot of sometimes you get into a company and you open the door. It's like you cross a time portal and you go back to the 1970s, and it's quite shocking. And obviously quality management system AA's 100D for obvious reasons. Um, and what we do is bringing value to the client. At the end of the day, if the client needs, I have a small company. They're looking for they're fantastic, they're fantastic manufacturers, but they recognize they don't have the expertise to manage a full company. And they said, what we need is someone to help us with that. So what they need is a contract CEO. So that's what I'm looking right now. It's completely out of regular scope. It's not something that is not even listed in our services, but I'm gonna try to hold them. And
Yeah.
on top of that, Kurt, David, we I think Ipa Washington won't be successful if we don't collaborate with the ecosystem partners.
Mm-hmm.
If we don't have the resource internally, if we don't have the resource within Ipa Washington, what we're going to do is just put these companies in contact with the rest of the ecosystem. We're talking about EDBs, the Department of Commerce, the SBA, the MBDA, the OMWBE, and all the acronyms you can imagine. At the end of the day, we are successful if our customers are successful. And if to reach that success, we need to contact, I don't know, the EDB in Oakland County. I'm going to pick up the phone and call the EDB and say, hey, we need to talk. I have a client in your area that need help.
Right.
Yeah.
All right.
Good stuff.
All right, so let's take it another step further. You're a huge advocate for, you've mentioned a couple of times, the small manufacturers.
Mm-hmm.
And there might be a misperception, manufacturers are huge, hundreds of employees. I think it's 75% of all manufacturers are actually 20 employees and less.
Yeah.
There's a lot of manufacturers that are 2 employees, a handful of employees. And, and I've had a front row seat, Damon, when Miguel comes on, it's a master class when you do a strategic plan with Miguel. I can't tell you how much I learned consistently just being on a call with him. But Miguel, you're exceptionally passionate for those smaller manufacturers.
Mm-hmm.
Can you share why are you so passionate for those smaller manufacturers? And just enlighten folks that maybe aren't familiar what goes on at a 5-person, 10-person manufacturer. What is it are some of the challenges that they're facing that they need help with every day?
Let's start with the challenges, and then I'll go why I try to help so much. Small manufacturers, they face so many challenges, but you can summarize in 2. They don't have time, and they don't have money. It's just flat out.
Right.
You go there and you knock on the door and say, I'm here to help you, blah, blah, blah. And we're going to say, you know what? Talk fast because I have 5 projects waiting. I have to pay my people. I don't have time for you because I need to keep money, to keep making money, to keep the lights on. So they don't have time. That's flat out. And the second thing is normally they're really, really, really short in cash. They don't have money to hire a consultant, to pay a consultant, 200, 500 hours to do whatever we can do. But in the other hand, those manufacturers are extremely important for the economy in the communities. If you go to a rural community and they have a manufacturing facility there, maybe 20 people, 30 people, 15 people, that is economic anchor for that community.
Mm-hmm.
And if that manufacturing facility disappears, it's a great problem, a fantastic problem for the economy of that community. that manufacturing facility needs industry services, needs the people work there need groceries, banks, everything. And the small manufacturers, they're not like the big companies where they're looking at the price of the shares, and they make decisions according with the price of the projection in 3 months. Small manufacturers are going to keep the team as much as possible, and if they have to cut the salaries, they're going to do that, trying to keep their team. They're fighting by themselves. If I can help them to create a one job, I have a small company that double the size because we help them with a project.
Wow.
Nice.
And when it's double the size, they went from 1 employee to 2 employees. But
yeah,
maybe one, Miguel, what are you talking double the size? They will only hire one person. Yeah. Maybe for you it's not a big deal. But
right.
let me tell you, for them it's huge.
Right.
Yes.
And that is important. Right. Those changes. Yep. We again, the MEP is measured by the impact that we have with our clients. If you talk to the person as the impact of having Impact Washington helping them,
right,
they're gonna say they helped me to double the size.
Right.
And on top of that, and this is very to feed my ego, pure and simple, it's extremely rewarding.
Yeah.
When you talk with these people and they say, Miguel, thank you so much, the ego is start to big and takes all the air in the room. It's extremely rewarding. And you met amazing people. You made amazing people doing amazing things.
Yeah.
Amazing things. Sometimes
they're making it happen.
Yeah. It's so much fun. It's so much fun. It's a fantastic job.
Well, Miguel, let's take it. So again, I've had the honor and privilege of working with you on several projects. So the one that doubled, it's all relative, right? If a company goes from 1,000 to 2,000, a company goes from 1 to 2, 10 to 20, it's all relative. It's still, that's a dramatic, what a win. Just and I love what you're saying. It's just so admirable, respectful of what you do, helping manufacturers. And like you said, they're the backbone of our economy. That little manufacturer can be like that is the main employer of that small community. Mm-hmm. When you go, let's go here. So say there's a manufacturer out there like, hey man, you're piquing my interest. I want to work with Miguel. Miguel, share a little bit. Like I said, when I'm on a call, like I'm a sponge, just learning, listening. When you go into that manufacturer, walk us through a little bit. What does that first engagement look like? What are you looking for? What are opportunities? What are blind spots that you're trying to plug?
Well, it depends on the situation of the company. Sometimes they come with a pre-made, I need this. I like in my first conversation, in my discovery meeting, I like to learn about the history of the company and about the background of the owner. Mm-hmm. That gives me a lot of hints what's going on the line there. We discuss about the current situation, the current challenges. And I always say, you know what? I know the problem you're gonna tell me you need more clients, you need more cash, and you need more people. And I'm aware of those three things. That's across any industry. Right. But let's talk about your reaction rate. Let's talk about your cost structure. Let's talk about your plans for the future. Let's talk about your marketing. Let's talk about what's your management style on the shop floor. Once we have done that discovery meeting and it's a good match for them, then we go to a tool that is developed by Impact Washington. It's a proprietary tool that we have, is the business evaluation. And in that business evaluation, it's an electronic tool that helps us to look under the hood. And that's where you have that conflict between the needs and the wants. I want to have more clients. Yeah, and that's great. But right now, in the way that your production is set up, your capacity is at 80%. Not that you don't have hidden capacity, you have it. But right now, if for any reason, Kurt put you in contact with, I don't know, Costco, you're gonna die by success because Costco's gonna arrive. It's like I want 1 million parts, and you're gonna say
Right.
I can't.
Right.
So once we do the business evaluations, when we get into the discussion of the needs and wants, and that's where the magic happens.
Mhm.
That's when I give reality checks to the company. I use always the same analogy. I'm a first time parent, so I have a kid, and when my daughter was born, my daughter for me was the cutest and the smartest and the most fantastic thing in the world. But maybe she's not. But I'm blind to
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And when you have these gatherings, when a distant uncle comes to the party,
Right.
and your uncle is blunt and doesn't have a good relationship with you, and look at the kid and, hey man, your kid is ugly, and you look, and everyone looking, what do you say? The kid is ugly. Well, the kid is ugly, but nobody's wanted to say that. Nobody wants to be, that breaking through the no, it's not. I'm that uncle when talk to about businesses. I'm that guy to arrive to your company and say, yep, you have a lot of troubles in your company. You have a problem in your company. And you never saw it because you are like this. You're entrenched in your day-by-day operation, and you don't have time to, raise your head and look around and say, yeah. So that's a role. Sometimes it's nice. Sometimes people have a reality shock, and it takes a tiny bit of time to help them.
Yeah. So, all right. So let's dive into that a little bit. Sometimes you got to play bad cop, tough love, right? However we want to describe it. And as entrepreneurs, it's our baby, right? Like this is our baby. And, like you said, we're probably a little blinded or, and it is tough when somebody points out a flaw on your child, AKA your business. Do you have any tips, advice on how do you have polite ways of giving that tough love, or how do you approach that with a business owner?
Well, I had a boss that used to say, use a sandwich. Good, bad, good. Beforehand, I was like, no, it's bad, and just we talk. But I learned that you need to be more soft, if you will. There, first and foremost, if a company has been in business for more than 3 years, you're doing something good. So you have positive things. There are things that are keeping you for growing. So I start with that. I start recognizing the good things of the company, but then we go to the problems. And I'm a fat guy. I'm a fat guy. So if you have something that is preventing you to be successful, I'm gonna point out and say, this is a dead weight that you have in your company.
Right.
That we need. If you get rid of this, you're gonna jump to the next level.
Right.
And funny enough, once we get into that honest and absolutely truth conversation, most of the business owners, most entrepreneurs, they say, yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. I know that I have to do something. I knew there was a problem, but I never addressed. They need someone, and it's a third party to say, yep, you need to fix it. And then they move on to try to fix it.
All right. So then at that point, now you're playing quarterback. So when you can point out the flaw on their child and hopefully that they're open to it, receptive, and say, yeah, I get you're right, Miguel. I there is a challenge right there.
Yeah.
And now you start quarterbacking, whether it's somebody internally, externally, you're going to bring in that person that's going to help fill that gap. What does that process typically look like from your, I know like could be lean, could be cyber, could be operational excellence. You guys offer, like you said, it's what don't you offer, but as you're diagnosing it and then you discover, okay, this is the blind spot. For folks out there that are new to the MEP network, just kind of walk through like, okay, what are next steps of engagement for Impact Washington?
Well, the next steps is first we define the client and impact Washington. And I want to be absolutely clear: we are not prescribing the solution. We point the solution and we discuss with the client is that the right thing to do.
Yep.
So we define a high level scope of work, and with that I look in the Rolodex of all the potential subject matter expert who is going to be the right person to deliver the service that client needs. We have an initial meeting where we check if we have personality match. Sometimes clients have a very perky and they want a specific type of person. And during that meeting, also the subject matter expert, the resource partner, as we call it, RP. The RP has the possibility to ask more questions that I haven't asked. I have the fortune to work with a lot of people that are way smarter than me, and they can ask very, very good questions, and that helps the RP to define a more concise and more fine-tuned scope of work. Once we have that, we present to the client that clear scope of work with goals, with challenges, and a timeline. We present that in a proposal to the clients. The client decides if that's what they want to do. Yeah, Miguel, this is what I want to do. Okay, perfect. Then we move to the contract phase. And during that process, we try to find a funding source. Remember, I'm working with super small companies. Normally, there's bootstrap; they don't have cash, so I try to find some funding source to pay for the services. Sometimes it's easy, sometimes it takes time. Sometimes the client say, "Yeah, I'm gonna pay for myself." But one thing that I always stress is that any project that any client is doing with us is not a cost, is an investment for the future.
Love
It's
it.
an investment. Yeah, it's an investment. The numbers are there. As I said, it's just I'm being lucky that all my projects have been successful and all my projects are generated increase in the impact. So.
So, all right, Miguel, a couple more questions. I know you're super busy. I want to be mindful of your time, but you and I were on a call together where I experienced that Damon, I experienced that tough love with Miguel.
Yeah.
And he was diving in and very just the professionalism, the care, the compassion, for the client. However, still structuring. So, Miguel, let's just say, for an example, hypothetically, kind of asking for a friend, if you will, right? Let's say there's a manufacturer, they're getting a little bit all over the board. They're trying to do a little bit of this. And like you said, not really, they really haven't got this system down. Now they're going to jump into another product line or they're going to buy a new piece of machinery. You find that they're getting, and again, I call it that entrepreneurial curse, man. I struggle with it literally daily, ADHD or shiny object syndrome. I saw it firsthand. Can you just share with folks, how do you help kind of reel people in?
I'm going to use an analogy here. I love beer. I had a business when I was living in Mexico called Vehicles, and what we did is we teach people how to drink beer, which is a fantastic job because you drink beer at the same time you're teaching that.
Good gig, right?
But at that time, the craft brewery industry in Mexico was starting to grow, and you have a lot of small brewers across Guadalajara. And you have a lot of people trying to do a lot of things. I'm gonna make an APA, and then I'm gonna make a lager, and then I'm gonna make a double bock. And I was thinking, you know what? You need to control one recipe, and you need to control one recipe and do it very, very, very good before moving to the next. Because if you're changing all the time, you never perfect one thing.
Right.
The same thing. If you have a line of business and you're jumping before consolidating, before having a foundation with a line of business, you jump to the next one, what's going to happen? That you are not growing in any one of them. You sprint too thin. So let's work in something that you control perfectly, that turns into natural, that you don't have is effortless to be successful. Once you get there, you move to the next one. And also be aware of your needs. If I don't know, if you are a CNC machine shop and your revenue is $400,000, and you have a sales representative for a machine shop, a CNC machine company, and say, hey, I have the latest machine, costs you $2 million, and you have production, you can launch, I don't know, $2 million per hour. I said, yeah, I'm gonna do it because 2 million. I'm gonna be the king of the
Yeah.
street. Yeah. Do you need that right now?
Yeah.
If you buy the thing, it's gonna increase your sales. Not really. You have a good machine. And don't get me wrong.
Right.
I love machines.
Right.
I can
Yeah.
spend a couple of hours just looking at the thing moving.
Hmm.
It's great. But before doing that, apply the tool that are cheaper, that can get you to the next level. And when you have perfection, you perfection the way you do things. You squeeze all the capacity from your machines, and you have enough cash to move to the next thing, then do it.
Yeah.
But if you look at all the shiny objects, you're gonna get lost.
You're gonna
Yeah.
get lost.
I had a mentor when I was very young. I was a young engineer, and I loved equipment. I always loved it, and he helped me see that very quickly. He was like, "Yes, that's a really nice piece of equipment," and he would take the time to go through. While it would be a good investment if we were at where you said, Miguel, it's not right now.
Do it
And
right
after
now.
about 2 or 3 of those, it was like, okay, I understand. We need to go back and improve until we're done improving, and then we need it.
I mean, if you like motorcycles, and I do, you want to get in. You want to ride a 1100 cc street motorcycle. But if you never
Mhm.
get in one, what you're gonna do? You're gonna kill yourself. So
Yep.
that was something small. We did, and
Right.
now I have an 1100 RT, and I'm the happiest boy in the world. But start small and grow. Don't try to run before learning how to crawl. You just I think it's logic, but
Right.
I'm guilty too on that.
Well, I'd say the manufacturers are very fortunate, very blessed to have
Yeah.
your expertise and your passion. And again, I love having a front row
Yeah.
seat. And just when Damon, when Miguel when he's chatting, man, I'm all ears, just a
Yeah.
sponge,
No doubt.
absorbing. So Miguel, you were talking earlier about ego and trying to so
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask you to not be humble. Can you promise? Don't be humble. You've been at Impact Washington 8-ish years, if I'm not mistaken, give or take, since 2016 or so.
Yeah.
And even if
Very
you want to
cool.
go further back, one of your, if I don't know if one comes right to your mind, one of your greatest accomplishments, one of your biggest wins, wonderful success stories. What was one of the first ones that come to mind that you'd love to share?
I'll say that I saw companies, small companies in rural in Yakima that went from, I think it was 20, probably 19 employees to 40 employees right now.
Nice.
Wow.
That went from, I think it was like 1.1 something like that to $7 million in
Oh
4
my.
years.
Wow.
Because of the work that we did.
Yeah.
Let me rephrase that. We help
Yeah.
to reach
Yeah.
that goal with the work that
Yeah.
we did,
Yeah.
and with the assistance of RPs. Those are the RPs are the ones that they're creating that success.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
just a facilitator. I've been with companies that I have a small company right now. Right now, they're doing a project. We're doing a project, and it's a solopreneur with a great product here in Seattle. And talking to her and discussing, basic concept of manufacturing, cost structure, capacity, and every single time that we completed a session, or we completed a session,
Mm-hmm.
she was like, "I'm learning something new," and
Nice.
you put again that fire to keep going and to keep going and to keep going. That's a great. And then we have these small companies that double in the size, and they turn into the work clients and our friends, and people that I look for and just want them to be extremely successful. I want all my clients to be millionaires.
Yep.
Mainly because then I can
Nice.
travel, abroad and go to the villas in,
Yeah.
Riviera,
Go visit them.
Yeah. I'm kidding. But I want my clients to be successful, because if they are successful, then I'm successful.
Well,
Yeah.
man, did you get
Awesome.
goosebumps on that one, Damon, or what?
Oh,
man?
yeah.
Was that
Yeah.
inspiring?
Yep.
I'm ready. Miguel,
Good
I'm
stuff.
ready to run through a wall right now. So
Yes.
let's, Miguel, as we start winding down, where can folks find you? Obviously, we've got Impact Washington. If they just Google Impact Washington, you're here on LinkedIn. Anything that you want to share as far as finding you guys, connecting, any events, anything that you want to share as far as that goes?
Yes. Well, thank you. Obviously, our website, www.impactwashington.org. That's our main website. If you want to learn more about who we are and as president of the company, you can go to the about and check the bios of the entire team. You're not going to be disappointed. As I said, when I say that I work with fantastic group of individuals, trust me, I have people that's been business owners, CEOs. It's just unbelievable. It's just every single time that you sit to talk to them, it's like your brain explodes. If you're a small manufacturing company in the state of Washington, if you are less than 20 employees, we have fantastic program. It's called the Small Manufacturers Growth and Support Program. I'm gonna introduce my commercial here.
Yep.
We are offering up to 80 hours of consulting at no cost.
Nice.
To the market value of the service is between $20,000 and $25,000.
Wow.
And we are offering that thanks to the board of directors in Washington. They decided to fund this program. But that's if your company is less than 20 employees. If you are above that threshold of 20 employees,
right,
my colleagues are ready to help you with all the services. And my time is free to our clients. I speak manufacturing. My colleagues speak manufacturing. And my email is always open. Moreno, MMORENO @impactwashington.org. Shoot me an email. I'm ready to help.
Love it. Hey, Damon, awesome. How about a big round of applause for Miguel Moreno here today for just absolutely crushing it.
Thank you.
So, Miguel, Damon, I do have one last question for Miguel.
All right.
I do have one.
Let's
so, Miguel, all right. So, fierce advocate for small manufacturers, just champion of helping folks. Great stories here. Again, guys, go back, hit the replay button. Just some wonderful, wonderful stories here to share. Miguel, by any chance, are you a baseball fan?
I'm not. I tend to watch sports as long as my daughter allows me. We are more in this house. We're more fans of Bluey. But I like to follow baseball.
You like to follow baseball? Okay, so you follow. So you're hopefully you'll get this analogy. So somebody sent us this question this morning, Miguel. So we'll go there. So let's say the Mariners are playing and they're playing the dreaded. I don't know, who do you guys hate? The Angels, Damon? The dreaded Angels, maybe. And we'll just say that it's bottom of the ninth inning. Okay, it's bottom of the ninth inning. The Mariners are playing. It's a tie score. There's somebody on second base. Bottom of ninth, tie score, 2 outs. And Seattle needs a hit to get the winning run. Okay, Seattle needs a hit to get the winning run. The manager looks down the bench and says, "Hey, Miguel, get up to the plate and hit in the winning run, will you please?" So you stand up, you walk over, you grab your bat, you grab your helmet, you're walking to the plate to hit in the winning run so the Mariners win. What is your walk-up song? What is your walk-up song to hit in that winning run for the Mariners?
Oh God. Oh God. Oh, that's a tough question. I don't know.
We will rock you.
To pump up. I used to listen to AC/DC, Shoot to Thrill.
There you go.
It's something that put me in the mood.
Nice.
to do almost to take daunting tasks.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So we're going
Awesome.
old school little ACDC to hitting
Yeah.
that winning run. So Miguel, thank
Yeah.
you for
Good
playing
stuff.
along with our
Well, thank
little
you.
our little fun question. We'll start winding down. Damon, any takeaways, thoughts from your perspective with our conversation today with Miguel?
Well, I just thank you for being here today, Miguel. It really,
No, thank you.
really
Thank you
enjoyed
for having
talking with you. And this just reinforces to me, how the MEPs like Impact Washington and Washington State are helping manufacturers and helping small manufacturers really become competitive, stay competitive, be even more competitive, make even more money, land new opportunities, and do things better. And really working with them to make it economically viable for those manufacturers so they can do more and stretch their money farther and stretch their efforts. But every time we talk to a MEP participant or people that are helping in the MEP advisors, I mean, I'm just always blown away at their dedication to helping manufacturers. Thanks, Miguel. It's awesome to talk with you today.
Yep.
Thank you.
All right, Damon. Well, hey, travel safe this week, my friend, and can't wait to see you back in the office. Now we're going to be off. It's a big holiday weekend. It's Easter weekend, so we're going to take Good Friday off. We won't be here next Monday, so we'll be back a week from Friday. So we just wish everyone an amazing, wonderful, incredible week. And what I'd love to encourage you to do, just go out and be someone's inspiration, just like this fine young man here, Miguel Moreno, was for us today. So we're going to close out, and thank you guys. God bless you. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks, everyone.
Again, thank you, my friend, for sharing your passion, your truth, this was just so good. So, all right, we'll close out. Have a great day, and we'll see you soon. Hang out with us 1 second, Miguel.
Thank you.